Hi everybody, my name is Chef Lee. Welcome to the Armoury. Today we'll be making a roasted squash soup, as you can see. I'll show you the different tips and tricks, and I'll tell you the differences of basic vegan version and then through other non-vegan versions with different garnishes. You can make it for yourself, your family, and friends, or perhaps entertain your guests. For the ingredients, we have roasted squash, already been roasted at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 to 50 minutes depending on your oven. Inside, the seeds have been scraped out. Oil, salt, pepper, been roasted. When the skin was soft, I took it all out. Now it's been kind of cut into small chunks. I have lemon to finish the seasoning. I have a little bit of thyme to kind of refresh the soup. I have onion that's diced, half an onion, black pepper, salt, and I have a pumpkin seed that's been toasted as a garnish. I have canola oil, but you can use olive oil or vegetable oil. So I'm gonna use my canola oil, 2 tablespoons. So my pan's been preheated, half an onion, and you can have a little bit of color, or you can just saute until it's just translucent. All we're trying to do is until the onion is 80% cooked. And once the ingredient goes in, you're gonna salt it, season it with a little bit of salt. That was about a teaspoon, and then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And if you want something to spice up your soup, of course, now is a good time to add your chili flakes, or you can add garlic if you guys want to. Okay, now that the onions are fully cooked, a little bit of color, and my thyme is in. And I'm going to add my roasted squash. This general soup recipe doesn't have to stick with squash. I cooked the squash already because the roasting intensifies the flavor a little bit more. But if you are making a cauliflower soup, as an example, you can just rough chop about a thumb size, and now's the time to add it, and then cook that, saute that for about 5 minutes over medium heat. So now that my onions have been sauteing in the pan over medium heat for about 5-6 minutes with a couple tablespoons of oil, as you can see, I'm going to add my thyme, fresh thyme in this case, to give a little bit of extra flavor into the soup. So now I'm going to start to see my onions become translucent. It's pretty close, so I'm going to let this go for additional 1.5 to 2 minutes. Like I said, it's again over medium heat, and just give it a little bit of stir. It's okay to have a little bit of color for a little caramelization to give a little bit of sweetness to your soup. But every time an ingredient goes in, my rule is that you season it with salt and pepper. And like I said, you can add anything like chili flakes if you guys want, but if you want other spices, you can also add, say, ground coriander or cumin as you like. Now we're going to start adding the water, but just before you do that, like I said, you want to build the foundation nicely in order for your soup to develop into nice flavored soup. So every time an ingredient goes in, you want to season a little bit. So I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then I'm going to add my cold water. You can add chicken stock if you guys want. You can add beef stock as you like. Okay, try to add a stock that is unsalted. Okay, and you want to add enough liquid so the ingredient submerges, and you have extra like half inch of water, and then we'll adjust the water at the very end. So now that my soup has been simmering for the last 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to take out the thyme. I forgot to mention that I have tied my thyme in a butcher's twine to make it easier for you to take out instead of me trying to fish things out. So it's a nice little trick if you guys want. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to start blending in the Vitamix. And like I said, you guys can do this with the immersion blender. In that case, I would leave everything in the pot and start blending until smooth. And you can strain it into a fine strainer if you guys would like, but you can stay chunky if you guys do like that. So I always try to aim for a soup that can be you can drink it in a little coffee mug. All right. So I have my 8-ounce ladle. I'm gonna start blending all of them. Okay. And I have just tasted the soup. It's pretty close, and if you like your soup to be a little bit more creamy, now's the time to add a little bit of butter. I would say maybe a tablespoon, or a little bit of cream, or if you want to go dairy free, now's the time to add a little bit of coconut milk, which I always do often. Alright. So now that the soup has been blended for about a minute, 45 seconds to a minute, I have tasted my soup, it's ready to go. So the flavor note you're looking for is soup to be slightly under seasoned. When you have something like soup that you taste multiple times, at least like 10 to 15 spoonfuls, because the flavor of the salt builds up, you want to go slightly under. That's how I usually go about it, so you don't, it doesn't go overkill in your palate, because it gets in the way of your next course. That's how I usually season it. And you can also refresh the soup a little bit, having a little bit of light crispness to the soup by adding a little bit of lemon zest and a little lemon juice. And I'm going to finish garnishing it with a little bit of parsley, chopped parsley, toasted pumpkin seeds, and a little bit of olive oil to finish off. All right, so I have my 8-ounce ladle. Just going to lightly season it. So it looks nice and creamy. Consistency turned out nice. Add a little bit of pumpkin seeds. Like I said, you can use nuts, croutons, or other types of seeds. And a little bit of parsley. And you can choose to add chives if you guys want. And to finish off, a little bit of olive oil. And just serve. Ready to go.